my name is Mwangala Chakalashi Santos, and welcome to this special edition of Ignite with Mwangala. Now today, the rest of the world woke up to red roses. Oh yes, it's Valentines. The question we must be asking ourselves is, what is Valentines? How significant is this day to everybody? Who should celebrate Valentines? Now, I am joined by an exciting and amazing people on set that will be talking about Valentines. That will help me to answer some of these questions. So immediately, I have Isililo, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mwangala.
Gracious, welcome.
Thank you, Mwangala.
Wiseman, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
And finally, Maureen, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so this is nicely balanced. And we're talking about Valentines.
Yep.
And I think the first people to describe, or rather to define what love is, I think it should be men. What do you think, ladies?
Yeah.
Well,
The men should tell us what love is.
Oh my goodness.
So we're talking about love.
Yep.
Okay, we're talking about Valentines. Or maybe I'll start with you, Isililo. What is Valentines for you?
Well, I think, thanks, Mwangala. I think for me, Valentine's Day has got some history to it. My understanding is that there's the influence of the Catholic, some priests, two of them, should be in the 3rd century, that two stories. First one being that one was making young people getting married when there was a ban from one of the kings saying no one should be getting married, so that the young men are put into the military, so that the results of having younger soldiers who are not married, the results were far much better than men who are married, okay? But this priest, Catholic priest, continued to bless marriages. So on that basis, he was arrested, thrown into prison, and then later on executed. So that's story number one. His name was Valentine. And the second story is around again, a priest by the name of Valentine. He was in prison, and he stayed there for a while and fell in love with the daughter of the prison guard or prison manager there. And before he died, he wrote or scribbled something tiny and said, "Be my Valentine," or "your Valentine." Yeah, so that is where we find these terminologies of when on this day you send that note saying, "I am your Valentines," or "Be your Valentines." And from now, an independent perspective, I mean, cultural, traditionally, 14th February has been a day of love where we celebrate someone that you love, a special person. Yeah, so we have followed that as well, where you just want to remember someone that, if you're young, yeah, you can still have a special one, and maybe your parents, you express your love to them. And if you're married like me, you still have to remember some of the special things you do for your partner. So that's why I celebrate Valentine's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Wiseman, should we just celebrate the people that we love, particularly on the 14th of February? Yeah. Or should love be an everyday thing?
I think the answer is outrightly no. We should love all the way through, because love is part and parcel of who we are. And sometimes I look at it and ask myself, do people realize that we have love embedded in us? And all we're looking for now is where to express it or where to put it into. And so, yes, we must be loving continuously, and we should not look for a special day to express that love. But like Isi has said, that this is a special day where you're going to remember the special things that you do. So there must be a little bit more of, more or less like an addition to what you always do. Why? It's because sometimes in this society you get too busy and you end up forgetting that actually you're a lover. So you may forget to express that love in one way or the other. And we must be very careful. I must start it from the very starting point here, that actually, because of our busyness, especially for men, you'd find that you forget your wife's birthday, Isi, and so on. So women would take it very seriously. And yesterday, while I was walking around the shopping mall and all that, I saw that actually men were buying gifts more than women. And I asked myself, I ask myself, obviously, men are under pressure to go and show that I'm sorry, I haven't forgotten about you. The struggle is real. I haven't forgotten about you. So I think as men, sometimes we tend to forget that we are lovers and there's someone we love. So this particular day, more or less, like covers up for the sins that you committed of forgetting. But in terms of love, we should be loving continuously.
Wonderful. Now we're talking about love. For me, that's such a big word. Maureen, what is your definition of love?
Mwangala, it's difficult to define love. I mean, love is an expression. It's a choice. You make a choice to love.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to define what love is, because there's love which is defined in the Bible, and then there's love that you feel in your heart for, for a loved one, for a family, for your children, for your spouse. So it's difficult to define exactly what love is, but if you're able to express it, and people express it in different ways, and I think that's why we are talking about Valentine today, because it's a day that has been set aside to express your love. It can be expressing love to yourself or to somebody else. So I think I'll stick with, it's an expression, and it's also a choice, because everybody has got a choice to either love or to not love. In my own understanding, I think that's the definition I can give you.
Okay. Gracious, what's your take? Is it a feeling or is it a choice?
Well, if we say love is a feeling, then tomorrow it just might not feel like loving. So I wouldn't say love is a feeling. I think I would go with her to say love is an expression. Okay?
Wow.
So you say you love someone, but you have to show it. It goes with action. If you don't show that you love that person, then it's just something you're saying, And that's why they say actions speak louder than words.
That's so powerful. So it's our turn for men to show us that you love us.
Yes. But we also love being loved. Who says that it's only the women that should be loved?
It's a two-way thing.
It's a two-way
thing. So you can't expect men to show you that they love, or to show us that they love us, and then in return, you're not showing them that you love them. So love is a two-way thing. It's like I said, it's you decide to love, so you're expressing it. So you have to express it, and then you can't just be receiving. You have to give as well. So it's a two-way thing. I don't think it should just be men buying gifts. It should also be women. And at first, I think Wiseman said that more men were buying gifts because they're under pressure. I don't think it should be out of pressure. It should be because
trying to impress.
Sadly, it is because they're under pressure.
Why do you think they're under pressure, Gracious?
Well, I think they're under pressure because usually as women, we tend to have some certain kind of power. You understand? And mostly as wives. He's married, so you get
Are you a wife?
No.
She's an observer.
Keep you from crossing that line.
No, she's
From
allowed.
what you have heard.
It's just something that
You have heard.
A very objective observation. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So, I mean, let's say I am his wife, and it's Valentine's Day. It's something that's known that my husband obviously is supposed to get me something, so was I. But if he doesn't, you'll
be in trouble.
Yes, obviously. Probably maybe I will not make him supper, or I will not give him what he wants at the end
So
of
why, as a wife, why should you make him supper? Is it because he's buying you gifts? Is that the reason why you would cook for him?
No.
Sanctions.
Just for the very moment.
For that particular
day. Okay, my husband has come home. He's
Without,
forgotten, or he's forgotten it's Valentine's, or he feels he doesn't need to buy me a gift because he loves me still. Still going to be a problem. I am the woman of the house.
So he better get you something.
He better get me something.
Oh my God. Issy, have you gotten your wife something? Otherwise you'll be in trouble. No supper for you.
Well, at least I'm away from the naughty corner.
Okay.
So, and I must say that at least my wife is not the kind that put so much pressure on me, and the pressure that comes is usually from within myself in trying to impress her and do better than the last time. So I think I'm kind of privileged in that area or that aspect.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Wise man?
There's a school of thought that I have that, without getting too religious, I mean, it's picked from the Bible. And this is where it says that, therefore, men, love your wives as Christ loved the church. My understanding, and I'll say this to probably just get our minds ignited, that women have no capacity to love. Women respond to love.
That's so powerful.
They don't have the capacity to love. They respond to love because it is incumbent upon men, it's requested of men to love their wives or to love a woman. Now, what a woman just does is that she responds to what it is that you give her. We can flip it back and forth, that women are incubators. You know, women are receivers. Hence the point that she talked about, that, you see, because women have got certain powers, that power is embedded in them to say they expect. You understand? So if a man understands that concept, that a woman expects, then you should be able to give that which she expects, and that's when she can give birth to the love side of things. Now, in the confused sense of society today, you will find that instead of expecting, it is now demanding. You understand? It's now demanding. That don't you know that I need? You understand?
And I think women are very good at demanding.
Yeah,
right?
so when it becomes to the level of demanding, that's where the confusion of do you love me or you love the things I give you that then ignite your love for me. Now, it becomes a long process altogether. So if I don't give you a gift, you will understand that I love you. It's just that I have not expressed it by buying you a gift.
A particular
A
gift.
particular gift on Valentine's Day.
On Valentine's
But
Day.
it's not.
So now I hear you. It is expected.
Yeah.
So when you're expecting something and you understand the position from which you're expecting it from, for instance, from your husband, from your boyfriend, you're expecting him to take you out to dinner.
Yeah.
Are you there? Now, if he does not, immediately, because now your mind has turned into demand for it, you will immediately cancel him out that he doesn't love me anymore. But if you understand love and the way you've been living, remember we said that you should be loving continuously, you will then be able to pacify that and say, even if he has not taken me to dinner, he still loves me. Because love in itself is not a presentation of gifts.
But an expression,
yeah.
again, isn't it?
So if he has not taken me for dinner, what is the reason behind that?
Yeah,
because he can also cook.
Yes, he
if
can
he's
also
not able to, maybe there's no money, that's
it.
fine. It's not always about monetary gifts, but he can also express it in other ways. He can say, I'll cook dinner today for you.
That's it.
Okay.
So it's not really
About
gifts that have monetary behind it. So it's also, if he's not taking for dinner, what's the reason? Why not?
That's it.
So
But then I think there's an issue of the mismatch of expectations.
Yeah, and the person to know will be yourself. Because remember, you know him. I think the confusion we're having is many people don't know each other. And those that are in relationships, the youth and whoever, without taking so much away from them, they know what they're doing. But what I'm seeing by sitting in the terraces is that you do not understand what is going on with your man, and you do not understand what's going on with your woman. There is someone who is taken to dinner, and they will not appreciate being taken to dinner because
That's
their
true.
mind is wandering all about the space.
That's true.
Wise man, let me sorry, Mwangala, if you may just allow me to, let me just take you back to your philosophy on some reference to a scripture where you say a husband should love their wives. I like that view, but I have a different philosophy where I say rules apply to those that can easily breach them. Okay, so if it says no smoking, if there's a boiler plate that says no smoking, for someone who doesn't smoke, it doesn't apply to you. But to someone who smokes,
It does.
will apply to you.
Yeah.
So with the same thinking, my view is this: it's much easier for a woman to love. It requires a commandment for a man to love.
That's it. Oh yeah, I get your point. I get your point. Yeah, I mean it's.
Gracious,
Sam.
say something. I know you've been itching to say something.
I was going to say that. I feel it's easier for us to love because I swear we love easily. And the very unfortunate part about us women is that we are moved by words. Trust me, a man comes today and tells you, oh my gosh, you are beautiful. Your body, everything about you.
Yeah, your hair.
Your eyes. Oh, I can see through your eyes. Oh my gosh, your eyes tell me something. You know, like, you're just going to be like, this man, oh my God, you know, like.
He's going to sweep you off your.
Yeah.
And then you're in love.
Yeah,
You're in love like that. Men don't really understand like what that does to us, but they just do it.
They just do it because they want to get something out
so
of you.
it's easier.
Oh, no, that's a serious accusation.
So so tell me something. What does it take? What does it take for you men to fall in love?
Yeah, so tell us.
Yeah, so maybe let's get it from the men. What does it take? What did it take for you to fall in love with your wife, for example?
Well, I think someone just being practical, understanding me or hearing me. And I think in understanding and hearing me, I mean to really get to understand the inner being where I'm able to feel free at home with this person without feeling threatened, where I can remove my guard and feel safe. Someone who's there that's intentional in making me feel happy, settled, taken care of. Yeah, and that is why most women think that we are the biggest babies around. Okay? Yeah. Because that kind of, I suppose it works for women, it's the words, and for men, it's that kind of treatment. And I think when a woman starts showing that she respects you and regards you as her man, that sort of takes you to a different place, and then you kind of man up. You say, you know what, I've got a big responsibility here. I've got to protect, I've got to provide, I've got to be there to just make sure that, this is my family. This is,
Okay, so women actually ignite this
It's
money.
women who have that influence.
And I think from what Isi is saying, we lead them to. I'll tell you, I mean, at my age, do you think I've only had one relationship?
Of course not.
No, I've
Of
had
course
many,
not, yeah.
including marriages that broke, you understand? So ideally what I've noticed is that there is sometimes a sluggishness on the side of us as men to think that because I have loved her up to this level, it's enough. And also there is an illusional picture of what a woman wants other than what she has. Prior to us sitting on this set, there was a thought that was going around, which has made me think now that would you be wanting to be loved in the way that your friend is loved by her man? I think that part also needs to be guarded very carefully because it confuses the love that you and me would have, because then you're demanding of me that which Isi is giving to his wife, and it doesn't work. And it comes also same to the angle of gifts and provision of whatever it is, that tomorrow your husband buys you this particular shoe, and you are with your fellow ladies, and they go like, wow, that's a beautiful shoe. And
a red shoe like Maureen's
like
red shoe.
Red shoe.
Yeah.
So then the other ladies feel like they're not loved by their husband. I think that for women, they need to come out of it. That what I get is...
I think it goes back to what you said at first, where you need to understand each other. You need to know your partner. Because if you know your partner, you know what makes them happy and how to express that love to them. So that way, if you know each other, even if, I get a red shoe and you get a card, it's enough for you because that's how your spouse thinks he should show you love at that point. So if you understand each other, you're not going to compare and make comparisons to say, my friend got ABC and I didn't. So it's a matter of knowing each other and also knowing yourself as a person.
Yeah. Okay, now we're talking about love here, and I know that you can only give that which you have. which brings in self-love. Do we love ourselves enough to be able to love the second person?
Oh, yes.
I knew she would say yes. So I'll start with you.
I just think it's important for everybody to love themselves, because for me, self-love is a dictation of how I want others to love me. I show myself love. So if I'm not in a relationship, today is Valentine, I should be able to celebrate myself. I can, take myself somewhere, take myself for dinner, go for a spa day, because I want to feel the love. And that way, the next time I'm in a relationship, the person knows that this is how she wants to be loved. So when you love yourself, you're dictating to others how they should love you.
Exactly.
So self-love is very important.
Yeah, I actually saw something that says, be careful what you tolerate. You're training people how to treat you.
Yes.
It's very, very interesting in that fashion. So you go out and you book a table for one.
Are you going to be doing that, Maureen?
I'm not doing that today, but I totally would.
Okay.
But I'll tell you what I would do. I'll buy myself one of the most expensive bottles of wine.
Yeah.
And
Are
treat
you going to
yourself.
pour it in a glass? Are you going to pour the wine in the glass, or are you going to drink?
No, of course, it's Valentine's. I'll put it in a glass.
I'll come in the
have a
glass.
nice meal.
You should order pizza with that. Wine and pizza are perfect together.
So what are you doing,
no,
Gracious?
wine.
Are you going to order wine and pizza?
Well, I think I'll just. I'm planning on going out with my girlfriends. So, yeah.
Guys, when did you hear that?
self-love.
That's self-love. She's going with girlfriends, no men involved. Now, how
Do you
significant?
think that people that have self-love are the ones that can actually express love? And I'll tell you why I think so. Is that you find people agitated. It's not because of the person poking them. It's because of what comes out when they are poked.
Yeah.
So if there's bitterness in yourself, you
Obviously,
find
that's
that
what comes
every
out.
little thing that comes up and about is like, you don't love me as much. Because you don't love yourself as much. It goes also with respect. You cannot be going around, for instance, in a home. I can't go and tell my son that, you know what, you should be respecting me, I'm your father. The moment I say that, I am not.
True.
Because then I'm not viewed like that. And I have come to learn that, when a woman, like she was saying, it's about what you tell them. When a woman falls out of love, because we're taught there's falling in and falling out, or falling on top of love.
Was it getting stuck?
So when a woman falls out of love, I think for men, you just have to respect that.
You can't force them?
You can't. I'm learning this now, that, when a woman loves, she loves. You know why? Because you have induced it out of her. And so the moment she does not, it means I'll call it your juju, okay? Or your power to make her fall on your shoulder, to make her hold your hand, is no longer working. And the moment she steps out of it,
That's it.
it's gone. It's the same also.
How can we ignite it? I mean, this is Ignite with Mwangala.
Yeah, that's why I love every day.
Ignite,
Love every day. Do
Lots of
something
fire.
silly and funny.
I agree with him because I can attest to what he said.
Oh, okay,
Okay,
testimony.
yeah.
That's great.
I once loved someone, and I fell out of love, and I think that person noticed that I fell out of love, and they tried
To ignite.
it, but once I fall out of love, I cannot. I cannot go back because I say, he's just gonna do it again.
Why
And
did you
that's-
Don't you think it's fear now?
Or why did you fall out of love?
Because there are just certain things that he stopped doing, or certain traits that I saw. Because there's a thing that us women do, or that the mistakes that most women make, to say, oh, when they see red flags in a man, they ignore to say, okay, when we get married, he's gonna change. They don't change. They just get worse.
Yeah.
And I've seen that in someone. Okay, I've seen that happen with someone close to me. And so when I see red flags and I see, okay, this is not going to work for me, and you can't change a man's heart, only God can. And that's just what I know, and that's what I believe. You as a woman, you cannot change a man unless he wants to change.
You know, I'm going to cut her. It's the same. It's the same even for men. I'll tell you what. Women don't use German-made hearts, and then men use Russian-made hearts. We all use flesh and blood. For men, the tolerance is shorter
than for women.
Than for women. So women will tolerate for a certain, to a larger extent. So we would be saying 60%, 40% on the man. Similarly to what she's saying, for me, getting into a relationship that I kept wanting to mend, I realized afterwards that, you know what, this thing is not going anywhere. But then you can imagine that it's not typical for a man to come and say, I have broken this relationship. It's not typical. So when you walk in as a man and you say, you know what, my lady, you and me ain't flying, as they would say. You and me ain't flying. I mean, you can imagine, Mwangala.
Is that the word out there? You and me ain't flying.
We're gelling anymore.
I think we're drifting.
We're drifting.
So at the end of the day, Mwangala, you can imagine we're in a relationship and you don't realize that I'm holding it up for us. And then I walk straight into your face and I tell you, you know what, Mwangala, we're not going anywhere. I think I'm stepping out. It's rare. Usually women are the ones that go and say, I'm out of this.
It ain't working.
And so on. I mean, it's a value here and there, but what I'm trying to drive at is that the similar things you're feeling about what a man would do and things like that, I think to some extent that's what men also feel. So because we're all human.
And I feel men are more sensitive, actually, than women.
I also think for a woman to stop loving, like in your case, for a woman to stop loving, it takes a lot.
Yeah, it does.
For you to get to a point where you've fallen out of love.
Exactly.
It really, in most cases, you find that as a woman, you've done everything. You know, everything to a point where if somebody asks you, could you have done something differently? The answer would be no. So for a woman to get to that point, because women, like she said at first, sometimes it's just an apology. You forgive and you move on. Like Valentine today, you don't get a present. Tomorrow life goes on. As a woman, you continue loving. So
Is it also true that it takes a while for women to fall in love?
No.
No?
I'll let them answer.
Slow in, slow out.
I explained from the beginning.
Just checking.
I explained the odd days.
Like a train.
In the odd days, it used to take long. And that's why we're saying, as a woman, it's the gesture. Somebody says something today, they say something nice, they compliment you, they send a gift. So it used to
builds
be.
up. What we call love.
That's what used to be true love.
But Maureen, it's a woman speaking.
Let me give another testimony.
Let's hear it.
Okay.
Okay.
So there was a man, right? I was even telling myself, this man, my type one, I can't go out with him, I can't marry him, I can't have children with him. That's a no-go area.
Not meeting your criteria.
So now, he just was so persistent, he was so caring, kept buying me gifts. He was just
men are hunters. They keep going until they shoot down.
Yeah, and then I just found myself falling.
Eventually.
Because he was there, he was caring, he was always there when I needed him. He was, just loving. And then I found myself falling. I'm like, okay, so what has happened here? How did I go from I can never be with this person to
I love him.
Yeah.
He looks good after all.
So it was the gestures, everything.
The action.
And that's very important. And I think men out there are slowly losing it. Why is that?
I think it's the age we live in.
The generation.
It's become so easy for people to buy love and so much that somebody can just go online and find the debt. So men are not paying as much attention as they used to in winning someone. Because I can say no today, there's somebody else waiting in line.
Of course.
So as a result, I don't think men today, very few men today actually put in a lot of effort in trying to win someone's heart, because it's the era we live in. It's a digital era. Life is fast. Those days it used to take so long. Somebody would chase you.
Letters.
And it's fun.
Now it's WhatsApp.
Just chasing.
Then in the end, even your friends will be asking, what did you see in him?
Yeah.
No, but I think ask me. I'm much older than everyone.
Oh, yeah. Say something. Yeah, tell us.
Yeah, so obviously society, norms and all this and that, but also in line with what she's saying, it occurs to me that I'm beginning to understand that it's because of demandfulness for material things.
From women?
Yes, that some men feel offended. I'll say this from what I've noticed, that for a woman, if you haven't bought her dinner, some women, okay, you don't love her. Remember we touched on that. And so how many men are going out there flashing out dinners? Are you there? And you being swept off your feet thinking that is love. So I think women to some extent should be able to guard their minds and say, love is not loving the things that someone has. Love is loving the person and enjoying the things that that person has. This is what they'll say, if you love me, then take my baggage as well. So if you love me, like she was describing this person who was good, taken care of emotionally and all this and that, women are usually emotionally easily broken, okay? Don't you think that is one of the best gifts that you can ever have than a shoe? Because if you're broken emotionally, you won't even be able to get out of bed and wear that nice red shoe and move to wherever. You won't be able to have that energy. But I think women must start understanding that there is something more than the material side of things. The material side of things is important because no one is going to live in the sea and not drink the water. So you must actually put in effort to those gifts, nice things and all that. You look nice in this dress and things like that. But if those things are not there, somehow it begins to feel like then there won't be love. So are women of today loving? To some extent, they're loving the things you have and then loving you after.
Sorry to cut you short. There's a saying out there. I think it must be even in a song. There's a lyrics in a song to say love nanjala siviendelana. And that love cannot pay the bills.
Not at all. Not at all. And that's not the point I'm trying to drive at. You see, what we are simply saying is that look, before you love me, okay. Can you remember Coming to America? That movie? Okay, Coming to America. The guy goes and poses that he is a nobody. Okay? What happens is that the parents of the lady are pushing him away, but the lady loves him. For what? For being funny, for being for there, for who he is. Are you there?
Is that what you're looking for?
No, wait. I'm looking at life here. That by the time now they come to realize that he has money. I remember so much, I used to watch that movie back and forth, is that they come and say, he has got money. And they go like, yeah, everyone has got money. Even my current fella and things like that has got money. Then go, no. He is on the money.
On the money.
On the money.
Benjamin.
Now, you see how they run around to make sure that it happens. Are you there? Now, those are fundamental points, because if I am today that wealthy and you love me because of the wealthy, I can tell you that my love for you will still be there even if the wealth dies out. Remember, these are material things. If they wash away, if you continue loving me the same way you did when you saw I had those things, then you truly loved me, you did not love the things. Because love cannot be quenched as much as the material things. Now, I just wanted to say that without pushing away the point that love Nanjalasi and yes, we must eat, yes, we must do these things. But the BMW I just bought for you, whatever car and things like that, you drive it from this point to the other point, it crashes. And we don't have the money not until after 3 years to buy you another one. What will happen in that 3 years? Will you still be able to love me? If you can't, then you never loved me. You loved the things I had. You know, I think I just wanted to shed light on that and realize that, you know, with love, you will actually work together in one way or the other and enjoy together with what you have. In the olden days, people will start their lives on M-Pesa and build themselves up.
The things have changed.
And it's
right?
not
Things
a
have
things
changed.
have changed.
So we're looking at different things. Yeah. No, I'm
So
not going
what's
to
your
do
take,
that.
Maureen?
I'm not going to
So
do
what's
that.
your take, Maureen?
No, I totally agree with what he's saying. In
but-
the old days, things were different. You start together. But to be honest with you, things have changed.
Yeah.
And yes, I do believe love Nanjala, Sivye, and Darara, because life is expensive. There are bills to be paid.
Yeah.
So yes, you should love someone for who they are, but also money is important.
Yes, it is.
Because for you to express love sometimes, it will require money.
Come on.
Yeah.
And then even in the example I gave that you should cook if you don't have money, that food has to be bought by money.
Exactly.
So whether we like it or not, we can say, we are not being materialistic, but it's facts.
Cool. So yeah, before, I just wanted to keep you here the whole day. Today is Valentines, but obviously we cannot. We gotta go and buy some dinner, and some lunch. So I know today is a very significant day for a lot of people out there. So I'll start with you. What is a message that you're giving to the people out there on Valentine's Day?
Well, my message to my friends out there is to spread the love. There's a lot of bad things happening, some bad vibes in there. That can be changed if we all love one another. So it's a special day, so go out there and spread the love. That's my message.
Powerful. Precious.
Well, I think that's just it, to spread the love. Like, it's important that we love one another, like we extend a hand. It's important that we give to one another. And you notice that your neighbor, your friend does not have. It's important that you become a blessing to another person, because when you become a blessing, you get blessed at the end of the day. It's just the circle of life. It's like the law of gravity. You give, you get back. So, yeah.
Wise man?
Yeah, purely, it's about love. And you can't give that which you don't have. So I think from her earlier point where you say love yourself, I think just have that love. The more you have it more, then you can give it out. And express it and let people know you actually mean it. To just say I love you, it doesn't mean anything. If you can, drop in a gift and make sure that gift goes a long way. For those that have never hugged their women, I think it's time. Don't hug them with too much muscle. So I think express it is the way. Express the love. Let the love fill the air, as they would say, so that you can tell actually this person now is dazzling in my love, and so on. Let's keep doing it, not only for today. If we've never done it continuously, let today be the beginning point to keep pushing it until the end of the year, and so on.
Maureen?
For me, I think my message is don't be cheated. Not every day is Valentine. Today is Valentine. I see a lot of people posting every day should be Valentine. So what's the fast? There should be a big fast, because 14th February is a day that was set aside. If you have a partner, you have a husband, a wife, show them love. So every day is not Valentine. It should be. We should be able to love one another every day. But like he had earlier said, life is busy. Sometimes you forget someone's birthday. You forget to say I love you. So here's a day to remind you, and there's no excuse not to celebrate it. So whether you are single, like me, love yourself. Show yourself love. If you can take yourself for dinner or lunch or whatever, do something nice for yourself. So my message, not every day is Valentine. Today is Valentine.
Wow. Thank you so much for coming, guys, to love. I think we can toast to love on this special day.
Special day.
Thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you.
And I pray that we're going to express this love that we've been talking about. And it is my prayer that 1 or 2 lives have been ignited, 1 or 2 people will now be forced to go and buy a rose flower or a glass of wine for their loved ones.
Or even hug someone.
Or even hug someone, as Not very
with
tight.
the gym muscle.
Of course. So you have to hug me after the show. So this has been a special episode of Ignite with Mwangala, where we're talking about love. Now, I believe that we're all cut from the same cloth. We are all love. It is in our nature because that's who we are. So as we go out today, let us remember to love one another and show some kindness and show some love, because today is Valentine's Day. This has been Mwangala Chakalashi Santos. Join me for yet another exciting episode. Happy Valentine's.